How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Gym Range podcast. This is episode 18. I'm Karl, joined by my co-host Alex Cervantes. We're brought to you by Vendetta Sports Media. Go check out the site, vendettasportsmedia.com. We have everything on there, college basketball content to UFC to football to X Games content. Like, we got everything on there, so go check it out. And we got more college basketball to talk about. First, I want to start with the ACC because it is a dumpster fire of a conference right now.
It's something.
We're heading for like 2 to 3 bid territory at this point. It's rough.
I don't know about that. I disagree,
Maybe
but that's fine.
No, that's
we can talk about it. We can talk about it.
It's a little reactionary, but so Duke lost. They lost to Florida State in overtime at Florida State.
It's fine.
Florida State, notoriously difficult to defeat.
At home.
Yeah. This game was no different. Despite their past struggles, Florida State was able to come out on top. Duke mounted a little bit of a comeback in the second half, forced overtime, but unfortunately we're not able to get it done. The last shot did not fall, and they lost by 1. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, so I was watching Johnny Davis go for like almost a quiet 27. It kind of felt like against Northwestern. So I didn't get to watch Duke play, but I watched it today. And I will say it was Florida State that technically forced overtime. But still like it's one of those things where kind of Twitter implodes, at least the Duke fan base does. You know, we will like it's kind of par for the course that for whatever reason Duke's best player didn't touch the ball in the last possession. I understand kind of Paolo was being face guarded the entire length of the court after he inbounded the ball. Wendell had a line to the basket. Wendell's been your second best player all season. You trust him as your co-captain to go and get that shot. It's tough. Like, it's a 7'1" Butler who's trying to contest that shot. He's got a 7'4" wingspan. AJ Griffin was momentarily open before he cut back door, like immediately on the second pound dribble Wendell Moore took. So Wendell, if he had like thrown that maybe a half second early, you find AJ Griffin there. But again, it's just one of those things where Duke's, this is their third loss of the season. Not really panicking because we know what we see when we hit that upside. We've got the Kentucky game, we've got the Gonzaga game as barometers. They've lost all 3 games by a combined 8 points. So, I mean, Ohio State, they're 2 possessions away. Miami and Florida State, it's 1 possession, totally different ball game. Both those games, 15 turnovers against Florida State, 17 against Miami. You average now 10.2 on the season. I mean, that kind of clearly spells it out. It sucks to waste a game where you shot almost 50% from the field and over 40% from 3. But again, I feel like if I'm K, I'm more concerned with what Trevor Keels came down with because, you know, I was listening to Field of 68 last night and Archie Miller did bring up a phenomenal point. And he said, like, when Keels went out, Wendell kind of just, you know, Wendell is not, he's a great slasher. He's been Duke's primary playmaker. But when you take Wendell out of that lineup, you are kind of face guarding Paolo and kind of forcing him to play outside a little bit. Yeah. You lose that second guy who can create from the paint. So we'll see. If Jeremy Roach had a great game, he had 6 assists. So we'll see. Again, I doubt Keels is ready for Syracuse on Saturday. So I expect it's a short bench, as always, for Duke. It gets extremely shorter. It wouldn't really be a Duke season without a key player going down with an injury for a little bit. Yeah. Saw it, I feel like, in every year since 2015. So, I mean, we saw Winslow go down with it in 2015. So, you know, I'm not panicking yet. Duke kind of has these January slumps. Wendell Moore said post-game it's better to have these slumps. It's not even a slump. They lost two games in conference play. Yeah. Like, it's all relative. Like, that's coming from a Duke fan. Like, you can say, like, I've become accustomed to seasons with just 6 losses. So I know I'm going on a bit of a tangent here. Yeah. But not panicking. Right now, Miami is I'm kind of no longer optimistic about a regular season title, but I don't think that has as massive implications going into the tournament, which obviously I'm more concerned about. But I mean, it's Miami. Miami's got a full game now on Florida State and Duke. I mean, it's a game and a half on Duke. It's Miami's now, so we'll see how that goes. But yes, if we want to dive into the larger conundrum that is the conference.
Mhm. So one thing I wanted to add on Duke that I'm definitely open to push back on. Um, I'm impressed with them very much as far as what they've been able to do without like I don't think their offense, if I'm being honest, is particularly dynamic. I think it's a little too isolation heavy.
But
Um,
that's what it always is. It's the dribble handoffs at the top of the key. It's
I
the
mean,
horn set, entering
yeah,
into the post, and then it's
you're not
facing
wrong.
up and going.
But I think my reason for saying that is that they don't have I don't think they have a true point guard.
I don't.
I don't think Roach is that true. And see, the
We've
thing
talked
is,
about that.
if he's able to keep doing that, if he's able to keep having these like 5, 6 assist games, then that's huge for them. But he needs to become that and be that
Mhm.
consistently for them, because they don't really have that facilitator. They have a lot of guys who can make
Yep,
plays and create shots, but they don't have guys who make shots for other people. So that's my
I
thoughts.
agree. And
I'm a big
Paolo, again, it was one of those. Yeah, in one of those games, Paolo had 20, 12, and 7.
Mhm.
Arguably, you can make a point that, like, setting aside that first half performance against Gonzaga, it's his best performance of the season. So,
Yeah.
you know, Brian Roth said on Twitter, like, Duke just needs Paolo to touch it every possession. He is your best player. So
Mhm.
I trust K will figure it out. Again, Duke's bread and butter this season when they win games has been you need to force turnovers. Your assist turnover ratio, which is around 1.8, which is like top 10 in the country, needs to be there. You can't turn the ball over 15, 17 times. And obviously that goes without saying.
Yeah.
But they've got a 2-game home slate. I expect Duke to win every game
Mhm.
just because that's just kind of been the state of my childhood. But
Yeah.
you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
so yes.
The other thing that I was going to say, I totally blanked on, so that's fine. We're going to move on to the rest of the ACC.
Oh, geez,
I had some other Duke related comment, but I
we're good.
totally forgot what it is.
That's probably enough, Duke.
Yeah, that's okay. Miami, I think for a long time everybody had penciled in North Carolina as the second best team in the ACC.
Yep.
It's Miami. Miami's the second best team in the ACC, at
You could
least
argue.
as of
I
this
mean,
moment.
as of this moment, I'd be fine saying Miami's the best team in the ACC.
I'm not quite there yet. I'm gonna be
No,
honest.
no, no. But like, here's my thing. Like, they've got the head-to-head versus Duke. In a game in which they own them, I get they only won by 2, but still, I mean, Charlie Moore dominated that game.
Mhm.
So they're a game and a half ahead of Duke in the conference. Like, I'm fine saying Miami right now is number 1 in the ACC. I'm not saying that Duke doesn't have a higher ceiling, and when they're clicking, that they are better than Miami. But I just think I think it's unfair to Miami to a certain degree that we're like, well, they're not because I get it from both respects, I guess. I don't know why I had that tangent.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with saying that they're the best team in the ACC, but
Right now.
I think but I think when you're exceeding expectations to that degree, then my question is like, okay, well, how long is that going to last? Because I don't know that they're those guys like for the rest of the conference season. I don't know. I mean, McGusty is nasty. He's
Charlie Moore's forcing a ton of turnovers.
McGusty looks like an all conference player. We picked the wrong all conference guard from Miami.
I mean, did we? Isaiah Wong will probably still be all conference. He just won't be first team.
Yeah, that's true. Wong had a good game though against
He had a great game.
Yeah, really good game.
He kills me. He'll hit the toughest bucket I've ever seen in my life and then just be like running back on defense. Just straight face,
Yeah,
nothing.
easy for him.
He had a turnover and smiled yesterday. I was like, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, but props to Larinaga for turning this Miami team into one that's right at the top.
Extremely formidable NCAA tournament team.
Yep. Which kind of brings me to my next question: is how many tournament teams do you think the ACC has? Because as everybody knows who's followed college basketball this season, it is a down year for the ACC.
Yeah.
Not to say that the conference is bad or horrendous, but it's definitely not at the level that we're accustomed to seeing.
No, it's not 2019.
Yeah.
I've been saying for weeks, even when people were throwing out like the one bid ACC thing, I think it's still 5,
Okay.
which may be, I think the bar right now is 3. And I think people are kind of anywhere from that 2 to 4 mark. I'm gonna go 5 just because I expect one of the 4 West Coast Conference teams that isn't named Gonzaga, so one of San Francisco, St. Mary's, or BYU to kind of tail off a little bit
Mhm.
to where I think that conference only gets 3,
Okay.
in which I think ACC steals one of those bids maybe.
Mhm.
But I think it's Duke. I think it's Miami. I I I agree with Riley Davis said something yesterday that of heat check. He said UNC the tournament always looks for brand names, and I think if they're gonna have a hard time keeping UNC out unless like they play like they do against Miami, which I just don't think will happen.
Yeah.
Um,
They have been
so there's 3.
one of the more inconsistent teams, but
They have
overall, I don't see how you keep them out.
exactly. So there's 3, and then I think, I mean, with the way Wesley's playing, Notre Dame could absolutely get in. Like you imagine, like again, that the marquee win in conference play is Duke, and it screws Duke, right? Because ACC is bad, so like
Yes.
Duke's not going to have any marquee wins.
Right.
But
And every
Duke is
team when they play Duke is going to say this is our chance to get the big win because
yep,
we're not
and
getting it against anybody else this year.
nope. So Duke's, I mean, granted, it could be Miami now. Miami probably should be ranked
Yeah.
come next week, so Miami could be another one to
Yeah.
take that focus. But I do think Florida State's going to get in. I trust Leonard Hamilton too much. So there's 4, and I think one of Wake Forest, Notre Dame. I think one of those 2 get in. Syracuse, a perennial 11 seed. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's happening this year, but
Yeah.
Jimmy, if the Boeheim brothers get hot, I don't know.
It's true. Gerard is kind of holding him back right now, it seems like. But if he picks it up and just goes unconscious from 3 like he did in the tournament last year and leading up to it, then they'll probably be back. But
Mhm.
I'm not prepared. Yeah, I'm at this point, based on what I've seen from Syracuse, this year's a little different, I think, than other
It
years
is
because in years where the ACC was good, you can let in a 500 Syracuse team.
10-10.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, but this is not a
I
year
don't.
where I
Yeah,
think.
you're right. I don't know if they get. I don't know if they even get the way they've been playing. I don't know if they get to that 10 mark.
Yeah,
They could,
so
but I really hope Virginia Tech gets hot soon. I mean,
dude, I want it so bad. And
I
the thing
mean,
is,
I like, I rarely.
they haven't even been playing poorly. Like they're just losing
No,
close games.
it's kind of like that same Duke conundrum. Like you can both, they're there. They're
Mhm.
definitely there.
Yeah,
It's just tough. They've got, I took them tonight. We're recording this on Wednesday. I took them against NC State. That should be a game they win.
yeah, I think that's a good pick.
Listen, they end the month with North Carolina, Miami, and Florida State. Got to win 2 of those at
2,
least.
you think? Yeah. Yeah, we are getting to the kind of the point in the season where for some of these teams, it really is make or break. And Virginia Tech, I think, might be one of those teams.
And they might have already reached that point because they're 1-4 in ACC play.
Yeah.
But I mean, they can't have more than like 7 come tournament play.
Hmm. No, I
I mean,
agree with you.
they got to get hot.
Yeah. I've gotten a lot of questions. I've started the series on our TikTok at Gym Range Pod, um, where I use our randomizer filter to come up with a team and I give my opinion on whether I think they can make the tournament, which has been cool because a lot of people have been commenting like, "Hey, do
Yep,
you think this team will make the tournament? Do you think this team will make the tournament?" I've gotten a lot of Notre Dame comments, like a
I
lot of
saw
Notre Dame
those.
comments. Um, and I think it's going to be, I think they're going to have to be that 4th or even 5th team if the ACC winds up with 5.
The thing
I just don't think they're like they're not a top 3 team in the ACC, and
no,
those are the only safe spots to be really.
yeah.
So
So, and listen again, they'll get Duke the end of the month, the 31st, in a reschedule game,
mm,
um, in South Bend, no less. So again, you want to chalk up the calendar for another one that's obviously circled.
yeah,
But um, yeah, I mean, like they were super high. I mean, they massacred Clemson. They beat North Carolina. And then they lose to Virginia Tech, which is fine. Again, like we were really high on Virginia Tech coming into the season.
Yeah.
The thing I'm concerned with, and a lot of people were, was that 3-point win against Howard.
Mm-hmm.
I took them -11. I figured, I mean, Howard's ranked in like the 220s in Ken Palm. So
Yeah.
it's stuff like that that has me a tad concerned. But again, the ACC, like the Big Ten, just beats up on each other,
Mm-hmm.
beats up on itself. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it could be, I mean, heck, Duke could have 5-6 losses come tournament play. So,
Yeah. Notre Dame did look they looked very sloppy. They didn't look good in the Howard game. Some of that though,
that press,
I chalked up to the fact that Blakeney, the head coach of Howard, he's from the Mike Bray coaching tree. So like he
yeah,
theoretically knows how to game plan for Notre Dame. You would think. But
yes.
also, yeah, Notre Dame didn't look good.
The press, Howard's press was immaculate.
Mhm.
I mean, that late game press was just forcing turnovers left and right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Let's move on to the Big 12 because well, specifically you, jinxed Baylor pretty bad to the point where they not only lost against Texas Tech, but they lost their following game and then almost got 3 in a row before they pulled away against West Virginia. So, are they still the favorite to win the national championship? I don't know. Or has that shifted to the Auburns and the Gonzagas of the world?
let's be totally reactionary. Um, you know, they were without Akinjo and Sochan, so like
It's true.
I don't want to.
It's true.
They were 15-0 with them, or 15-1 with them. So 15-1 they lost to Texas Tech, but no, again I've said it here. Both Gonzaga's run last season where they were undefeated, and I think college football has us in this mindset that like you need to be uber reactionary once a team loses.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the case. Like we know when Baylor's clicking, they're clicking. You're gonna season. It's ridiculous to kind of like just jump all over the place. Baylor's still a top 4 team in the country in my mind. They play great defense. They have a million shooters. They have a million scorers. They're gonna be a tough out come play. So I mean, Baylor absolutely, like in this deep of field, could go out in the Sweet 16. But I think it's not a safe bet, but it's a good bet if you want to say like who could make the Final Four come April. But again, I mean, it's Wisconsin. It's not Wisconsin. What was I saying? I mean, maybe it is Wisconsin, but it's Gonzaga, it's Auburn, it's Baylor, it's probably Arizona.
Yeah.
And then maybe like a ... and you list some other teams.
Right. Yeah. Here's a fun Big 12 stat that I found today. Credit to Jesse Newell, who posted this fun stat. So Kansas, their defensive efficiency per Ken Palm is 33rd in the country. That is the worst of any team in the Big 12. Every single team in the Big 12 is 33rd or higher in defensive efficiency.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 10 teams.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous. Like,
yeah,
I don't.
There's 10 teams, 9 of them are tournament eligible. And I'd say, like, I think most bracketologists have all of them making the field with, like, Kansas State being on the bubble or something. Like,
let's reward the Big 12. In a year where the ACC is bad, put the whole conference in.
I'd like to see that because I think these even Kansas State is picking up big wins.
You know what? They deserve it. Put Mike Miles and TCU in the tournament.
Let's do it.
Put Oklahoma State in the tournament. Cowards.
Yeah, we need Oklahoma State got just jobbed, but
I guess you got to do 9 teams now, which is still very realistic.
Yeah. But yeah, Big 12, best conference in basketball for maybe the second year in a row. But the Big 12 is a great opportunity to talk about who I think is the coach of the year. in TJ Otzelberger because he took a team that was 0-18 last year in conference play, 2-22 overall, a roster with 7 transfers on it, and they're a tournament team. You can throw out the Tommy Lloyds, that's fine. I think he's deserving of being in the conversation. You can throw out Drew Valentine. You can throw out even like Bruce Pearl if you want to. Greg Gard, sure, he can be in the conversation, but I think it's pretty clear who it should be based on what he's made this team into. Do you have thoughts on this? I think this is kind of like, I don't know, not a lot of people care about Coach of the Year, but
I think you're right. I think he's got to go to TJ. Like I don't think I have to make it. Like Lloyd, absolutely deserving, like you said. You can throw Valentine, Pearl, all of those guys into the mix.
Plain and simple. Given the fact that I mean, the TikTok has been popping off. It's been doing.
Oh yeah.
Thank you if you're new to the podcast and you're coming over from TikTok. That's pretty cool. Thanks. But I've gotten a lot of comments about, hey, what do you think about this team? What do you think about this team? A lot of teams that may or may not make the tournament. So I'm just going to run some of this by you and see what you think.
Okay.
So we kind of talked about Notre Dame already.
Yep.
One of the other ones that I get a lot is Arkansas. That's another one I get a lot. I have not hopped off the Muss bus yet. Here's my thing with Arkansas is their best win is against LSU. And that's a good win, but that's like the only good win they have. And their non-conference schedule certainly is not doing them any favors because Eric Musselman doesn't like to schedule anyone in the non-conference. They kind of ran into a weird situation last year where their non-conference schedule aged like kind of like weirdly well in March because like it was North Texas and they won a game and like a bunch of other like 12, 13 seeds that ended up winning a game. But at the time, definitely was not that great of a schedule. And in a bubble scenario, that's like you need the strength of schedule. You need it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he expected to be on the bubble this year, but he is. And so some of his past decisions, I think, are coming back to haunt him from a scheduling perspective, which not great.
Yeah. Arkansas, I don't think is a tournament team right now.
Okay. Yeah, you were talking about Texas A&M, who are like actually okay.
4-0, 15-2.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think they need to. I want to see how they do against some of the better SEC
Kentucky,
teams because they haven't really played them.
They've got Kentucky tonight.
Yeah, so that's a big one. Another team that I have zero idea how to evaluate this team, and
Okay.
it's Dayton. I have no
It's Northwestern.
clue how to. No, I know how to evaluate Northwestern.
No, I don't think you do.
Yeah. I don't think Northwestern knows how to evaluate Northwestern.
That's fair.
Dayton is not. They're not the best team in the A10. Because that's Davidson.
Davidson. Shout out Davidson.
Davidson's the best team in the A10. They're on a 14-game winning streak. I think they're clearly the best team in that conference.
Yes.
But Dayton could be a second. Like I don't know how many bids the A10 is going to get. Because St. Bonaventure is questionable at best. And
Dayton beat them by 18.
Dayton destroyed them. Dayton has the biggest gap between their ceiling and floor that I can remember from like any team. They have some of the worst losses in the country, probably, of teams that are in consideration for the tournament. And they also have some of the best wins. The Miami win, aging extremely well. They beat Kansas, which not many people can say that they beat Kansas.
They beat Belmont.
Yeah. They won
the ESPN Events Invitational.
Yeah. And
they lost to Austin Peay, I believe Lipscomb and UMass Lowell.
Yep.
And they were like 3-game winning streak against some of the best teams in the country. Watch. Yeah. And now they're like 13, 12-6 or something, and 4-1 in A10 play.
Yeah. So I don't get it. Like, I don't understand how you can lose. Like, sometimes teams like Kentucky lost to Evansville the one year. Like, it happens. Sometimes you lose to these teams that aren't very good. But to lose to a collection of those teams and then to beat a collection of good teams, I just don't understand. I don't get it. And maybe
And
they win the E10 tournament. I don't know.
they don't play Davidson till March. I don't believe.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they beat St. Louis too, I think, who's like
Yeah.
actually okay. So yeah, like I'd say
Sure. I mean, I don't know how. I'll say if they can get like another bid, sure. Why not Dayton?
Yeah.
I mean, Kansas, Miami, Belmont wins. Chef's kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Those preceding three,
Yeah.
not.
Real bad. And those losses were like earlier. So like I don't know if they figured something out and are
I think they
now
did. I think
good.
they figured out
It
how to win at
seems like
home.
it. It seems like it. It seems like there's some positive momentum at play here. But yeah, Dayton just resume wise, very confusing. Very confusing. And I
Very
think
confusing.
wins are usually worth more than like bad losses don't usually usually they take the wins into account.
I don't know. That's a sequence of bad losses, but they were early November. If you're on form come March,
Mm-mm,
you love a good spoiler team.
you do. Um, Oregon turning it. Let's go to the Pac-12. Let's do a little Pac-12, little Pac-12 action.
Arizona and the rest.
Arizona and everybody else, and maybe Oregon. Is Oregon back? I don't know. I'm not saying they're back, but they might be back.
It's January. Dan Altman is potentially beginning to figure it out with the squad.
Yeah, Dana Altman, I think, is in a competition with himself that rolls over every year to see how long he can not have a good team and then like flip the switch and make the tournament anyway.
Oh my gosh, next year's Oregon team is going to
So
be with Dior Johnson.
well, if Dior Johnson can stop transferring like every 4 months, then maybe. But we'll see. No shade to Dior Johnson. He's really good.
That was definite shade to
It
Dior
was
Johnson.
shade to Dior Johnson. He's transferred a lot. He's played for like 10 different high schools, but
He has.
Yeah, I think Dana Altman has this weird addiction to being counted out. I don't know.
It makes for easy locker room speeches.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Maybe he doesn't want to have to keep like, trying to come up with ways to keep his team motivated.
They're counting you out.
Yeah.
Goes off and beat UCLA and USC on the road.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of USC, they're frauds. I don't know how else to say it. They're frauds.
Reactionary Karl and Alex are back.
No, listen, I don't even think it's reactionary because
we weren't high on them.
They do not have any. They have 0 ranked wins. 0.
You're right.
So I still think they're the 4th best team in the Pac-12, but
I can understand that. I mean, it's where they're sitting right now.
Yeah, I still think they're So maybe that'll probably get them in.
They'll still get in.
Yeah, they'll still get in.
Where we were thinking that the Pac-12 only gets 3 teams in, they'll get 4 now. The way Oregon's playing.
Yeah.
Again, it's all speculative. You can have a major February collapse.
Yeah, but I even think like if USC winds up with like I don't know 4 seed, 5 seed. I don't know. Like I had the 6 seed USC last year in the Elite 8.
Yep. That was because of Mobley, Evan.
That's where I picked them, and because I thought like this is actually a dangerous team, and Evan Mobley is a beast. I don't know that I trust them that much this year, even if they get a higher seed. So
I don't know if they will. Honestly, like just running through it in my head again. Like you got
maybe not, but
no, but I think probably a floor right now. Maybe. I mean, granted, they're still ranked, so
it's true.
But maybe floor of like an 8. In which case, I mean, shoot, if they play Loyola, if Loyola's a 9 for whatever reason,
that's a brute.
Colorado State as a 9, BYU as a 9.
They cannot stuff Loyola into an 8-9 game again. They can't do that.
No, they got to give Loyola a 7 or a 6
or even higher. Yeah, like they are very.
I doubt they will.
You don't think so?
No, they hate on
the mid majors.
Loyola.
Or just on Loyola.
They are. Unrelated, Loyola Chicago Davidson next year. Oh, I'm so ready.
Is that a game that's scheduled?
Well, isn't Loyola Chicago going to the A10?
They are. This
They're
is
joining the
true.
A10.
Wait, that's fun.
Yes,
That's really fun.
it's amazing. I'm ready for
Little
those games.
Chicago, St. Bonaventure. That's fun. I like that a lot.
Yes,
It's hard to. I'm glad you're keeping track of all the movement because I really have not.
it's
But,
too much.
yeah.
Any other teams?
Texas is bad. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say
Yeah,
it.
you had Texas as a tournament team. I don't.
I'm gonna say it. They're bad. um, I don't I don't know what exactly is going on with this team. I don't know if it's just that they're so concerned with getting
They have
everybody
such a slow
touches.
tempo.
They're slow. Yeah, they're slow. They don't really have like the thing with having five guys who
Can
like
go
are
and get a
averaging,
bucket.
yeah, who can go and get a bucket is great, but not if you're saying all of you are going to get a bucket every game. Um, there has to be some sort of pecking order in place. Like, just give Marcus Carr the ball, and I think he should be he was the guy who they gave the last shot in this most recent loss.
Kansas State.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I think that means he's the guy, right? If you're giving him the ball at the end of the game.
In which case, let him be the guy.
Yes. That's my
Let him
thing.
hoop.
He was a very dynamic scorer, very dynamic playmaker at Minnesota and even at Pitt before that. So give him the ball. Like, I don't understand what the problem is here.
Don't either.
This Texas team is so talented. I was on the record saying they're a national title contender based on the talent on the roster. I mean, we can go through. They're like the top 10 teams as far as talent, like throughout their roster. They're on there. But there's a bunch of those teams that aren't like a top 10 team in the country. Like Memphis, top 10 team as far as talent goes, not a top 10 team in the country.
Have we reached a point where Memphis is not a top 10 team individually, talent-wise yet? Can we have that discussion?
We can have that discussion because they just flat out suck. I think a lot of it is just that Penny can't coach. Hate to say it.
Just saying.
Hate to say it. I mean, I had the video about Bates.
Elite recruiter, not great head coach.
Yes, agree. Very good recruiter, not a good head coach.
Yeah.
I mean, they just took.
But yeah, here we are.
They just took who was it? Sheed off the bench. Like, he's not coaching there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough scene.
It is.
Yeah, but I don't know. We're running out. Like, the thing is, like, it's getting to a point with Memphis where we don't even have to talk about them anymore. They don't even have to come up ever because like they're out of it. Like, they're done. It's over unless they win the American. Unless they win the tournament, like the conference tournament.
Won't happen.
There's no way. Like, I just don't see how.
I don't either.
Yeah, because what's going to happen is they're gonna have to sweep Houston just to get like in the discussion for the bubble. Like, they're gonna have to sweep Houston just to be like the first four out. It's not good. That Alabama win isn't aging well either because Alabama has been so inconsistent.
It's not.
Even their good wins are turning out to not be good wins. So it's a tough scene for Memphis. Yeah, definitely a big like what could have been. But it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations, Houston, on winning the American, I guess.
Once again, Kelvin Sampson.
Kelvin Sampson has done an excellent job with a roster that has just gotten pounded with injuries.
He really has.
They have not lost a step at all. Sasser gone, best player. Mark gone. They're 16-2, so have not lost a step really.
Oh yeah.
Any other big?
You got any Maryland takes? Maryland?
Do I have any Maryland takes?
Just bring it up. We have points of discussion.
I mean, I'm curious. We'll bring Northwest. We'll rope Northwestern into this somehow. But I'm curious whether you think that Danny Manning or Chris Collins has a better chance of keeping their job.
Chris Collins has 100% a better chance of keeping his job.
You think so?
Yeah, because I think Chris Collins is more. Listen, I don't know how to describe it, but I've been in the room with the guy post game. There's just I don't know if it's a great sense, but I legitimately would probably run through a brick wall for the guy.
Wow.
Like he really believes in these guys, and it is unfortunate that all five Big Ten losses have come by 8 or less. And some of that has to do with, again, management. But I also don't know if firing Collins is going to get Northwestern anywhere. It's not like it's arguably
Hmm.
potentially the worst job in the Big Ten, which is funny because you theoretically have the Chicago pipeline, but now you
Yeah.
got Loyola, you've got, Kentucky and Duke are up here. So it's tough. So
Got Illinois, like,
yeah, I do think Chris Collins has a better chance of keeping his job because even though he has there's the stigma of fire Collins,
yeah.
they're competing in games and guys have bought in.
Hmm. Anyway, there's this very interesting grouping of coaches that have like a surprisingly high level of job security. And I think Chris Collins is probably, I think he's maybe deserving of keeping his job, but I do think he has not lived up to expectations, at least for this year. That's for sure. Um, but
He hasn't.
he's not in like the, he's not in like the Brownell or like the Capel category where it's like somehow these guys are like unable to lose their job despite turning in just like, ho hum season after ho hum season.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. But anyway,
They're
my Maryland take is we're done. It's
okay.
over. Like we're done. Um, and I feel bad because I buy in every year in a sense. Like I've definitely bought
Naturally.
in this year because my thought going into the year, simply put, was just like our roster this year is better than it was last year's. It's deeper. We actually have like a guy down low now, and we won a tournament game last year, so we should be able to make the tournament again this year. And then that it's
Mhm.
just been a disaster. It's been dumpster fire. I mean, things kind of went how I expected through, I guess, a couple weeks ago. Like I said, we would split the Virginia Tech Florida games. Um, I figured we'd pick up like at least one other loss or two other losses in the non-conference. I think we finished like maybe one game off what I predicted our non-conference record to be. But then we started like 0-4 in the Big Ten, and against all teams that were better than Terps. But like you'd love to pick up one of those games, and now I just think like I don't think we're gonna finish last in the conference, but it's not looking good.
Could
We could,
might.
we could, but I'm just holding out hope
You're not
because
Nebraska. You're
yes.
not
So I'm holding out hope
Nebraska.
that at least we won't finish lower than Nebraska. But we have this weird habit of
Yeah.
letting the best player on the other team just score however many points they want. So expect a big game from McGowan's whenever we do play Nebraska.
Yes. Also, Virginia Tech is up 26-13 against NC State. They started the game up 17-2.
Daily picks, baby. We're back. We're back to like 60%.
Oh yeah. We did a massive past 4 days or something.
Yeah, we've had
It
quite
was
a few
big.
winning days.
Weekend was massive.
Got us from 50 to 60%. So
Oh yeah.
I'm happy with how it's going. We're seeing things better. We're understanding the teams better. I'm I'm very curious how this Marquette game is going to go. Because I also thought like a 14-point spread is way, way too much for Marquette. Because they've looked really good. Like they've won.
Yep.
Are they undefeated in conference play, or have they lost one? Because they beat Seton Hall close. They blew out
Mhm.
Providence. They blew out DePaul. They beat Creighton pretty bad. So, like, I think they're legit and they're good defensively. So, like, and I get that Villanova's at home. Like maybe that's all it is. It's just like Villanova blows teams out at home, but I don't know.
I just thought it was too many points. I was
It's
trying not to overthink it.
it's a lot of points.
Exactly.
So, and then what was your third one?
Mississippi State +6.
I love that. Wait, who are they playing?
Florida, at Florida.
Oh, yeah. You take that. Mississippi State is still one of my favorite teams because they have talent at every position. And
They really
I'm
do.
still sticking with my preseason, like they're a tournament team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
My other pick was LSU Alabama under 148. It's currently 19-18 with 6 to play in the first half. But I didn't obviously put that down. But that was one I had.
yeah,
I was tempted.
that's a good one too though, because like LSU is gonna keep
LSU's gonna keep it low.
low, real low. Here's a random question.
Okay.
I mean, we're kind of just circling back like we always do, but is there a scenario you think where I feel like I'm crazy for even bringing it up. Is there a scenario where you think Virginia could like somehow sneak in to the tournament?
If Kihei Clark sells his soul to the devil for another run, and Tony Bennett gets gets knighted by the basketball gods in some holy February manner.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And if Trey Murphy like comes back to school and
yep, and if Jaden Gardner becomes, I don't know, if Jay Gardner erupts for 25 a night, sure.
So the answer is no. So long story short, the answer is no.
Wouldn't take it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't take it.
I wouldn't either. I was just wondering because the ACC is like.
Oh, there's an opportunity. Trust me. There's an opportunity. It could happen. I just don't think it will.
Virginia team that is going to take advantage of that opportunity.
I just don't think they score enough.
They don't. Like if any team that asks Kihei Clark to be a scorer isn't going to be a good team.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
I don't know if you have any other things to
add. Today. No. But this is like maybe the fourth time Northwestern and Duke have played on the same day, and like they're either below 500, like they're either 1 or 3 and 2-2. So I'm not liking it when they play the same day. Hoping it doesn't happen the rest of the way, but it probably will. Yeah, that's all I got.
Some more sad boy hours for.
Oh yeah, honestly.
That's okay. I just need to find another team to like.
Mississippi State. Come on now.
I guess it'll be Mississippi State.
It has to be Mississippi State, or it could be Gonzaga, but then you're
Mississippi State's good because it's not a bandwagon.
Can't be a bandwagon.
Yeah.
You should cheer for Oklahoma State right now.
But there's nothing really to cheer for. So.
Exactly.
I mean, I already have nothing to cheer for. That's the problem.
Fair.
Yeah. So.
I don't know. College basketball, baby.
Love college basketball. It's the best.
Truly.
Anyway, all that to say, thank you guys for watching, for listening. If you're on Spotify, be sure to drop us a 5-star rating on Spotify because you can do that now. That would help us out a lot. Follow us on Twitter at JimRangePod. You can also find us at TikTok at JimRangePod. We just hit the 1,000 follower mark, which is huge.
It is.
We can go live now. That's a perk of
lit
1,000 TikTok followers. And the number is growing by the day. So if you're part of our TikTok crew, thank you very much. We like that you guys interact with those videos and they're fun.
Download Twitter and then follow us.
Yeah, and then download. If you only have TikTok, download Twitter and also follow us on Twitter.
Exactly.
Because that has kind of become the de facto home of daily picks. They no longer exist in the TikTok universe.
We were struggling when we posted them on TikTok. So
yeah, so
Runoff Form's been better on Twitter.
Twitter permanently, and now they're doing good on Twitter. So
yeah,
if you're into that, or if you're into us tweeting when people hit half court shots, or if you're into
if you're into me obsessively tweeting over Duke and Northwestern games, give me a follow.
Yeah, give Alex a follow.
I'm
Or
unhinged
Chelsea,
sometimes.
if you like soccer.
Oh my gosh, yeah. If you like,
Chelsea tweets.
if you want some unhinged Chelsea tweets,
Yes. For the small niche of people who are Chelsea, Duke, and Northwestern fans, Alex is the guy to follow.
the Uber
Yeah.
smallness.
Yeah. So yeah, give us a follow. We'd love that. But thank you guys. For me, for Alex, it's gonna do it. We'll see you next time.